Hello and welcome to my meditation. My name is Debra Baker and I am so grateful that you have joined us for this little while. We are going to spend a little time focusing on trusting the universe. So let's get started. Let's begin with our 3 nice, really deep breaths. Breathing in, filling up your chest, holding it for a moment or a thought, and then releasing it. And this time, fill up your chest and your back, like between your shoulder blades. Just fill up all your rib cage. Hold it for a moment and just feel how good it feels to have your rib cage expanded like that. And then let it go. And now take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Fill up your rib cage and fill up your belly and just take it in slowly. Hold it for a moment and just feel that expansion. Letting it go slowly. Doesn't that feel good? So the next thing we usually do is relax our bodies. So let's imagine just drawing everything up to the center line. Press your ankles and your knees together and your legs. Just imagine squeezing them together and squeezing the muscles to the bones. And we'll just do that from the tops of our legs down. Just squeeze them together for our breath cycles. Breathe in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And on the exhale, let it go. And now from your tailbone up to the bottom of your rib cage. So pull in your lower abs, your sides, pull up your pelvic floor, tighten your glutes, and just hold that. Squeeze your pelvis for a breath cycle. Squeeze, 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 and then let it go. And now draw your hands up to your shoulders. Squeeze your arms to your sides. Imagine squeezing your rib cage like you're giving yourself a hug from your shoulders all the way to your waist. And just squeeze that in for a breath cycle. Squeeze, 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 and then let it go. Yeah, and my favorite one, draw your shoulders up to your ears, tuck your chin slightly, and imagine like pulling your muscles to your skull. Pulling your shoulder blades up, squeezing your neck gently for a breath cycle. Squeeze, 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 and let it go. And just notice how good it feels to let it go. So I was journaling this morning, and I highly recommend it. It's something that I haven't done for a while on a regular basis, and when I do, I feel so supported by myself. I feel like I have an ally that comes out in the pages and it says, Deb, you're doing okay, you're doing fine, or it listens, or I get to just kind of dump it, and I also get some insights. So I became aware this morning of what I call, or what the guides called, because sometimes I channel when I'm doing it also, what the guides called hidden energy. And it's also called PTSD or unresolved trauma. And I had a chance to be with some people who have a shared belief system that is very different from what I have, but that is what I used to believe. And I could kind of see the effects of that, like the sense of not being good enough, the sense of having to earn approval and having to earn kind of your place in the world, and feeling not worthy no matter what you did. And I became aware that there are still these hidden pockets of energy in me that, I believe that sometimes when we are small children, We hear things, and sometimes we even misinterpret things, but we take them to heart. And so, I had to recite on a regular basis, I am not worthy. And man, you take that to heart if you say it enough times. And yet, what my guides, what the universe, what every spirit I have ever channeled and every spirit guide that I've ever channeled has said is you are inherently worthy. You are an infinite soul having a human experience which makes you worthy. So let's take that in for a moment. I'll be quiet. And so you can just consider the idea that you were born with worthiness. You deserve to be here because you're here. And so how do we resolve this hidden trauma, this unconscious trauma? How do we release these hidden pockets of energy? Because when we can't express an emotion, the energy of it stays in our bodies. And so I was asking the guides, well, how do you do that? And the answer I got was trust. We inherently know how to do it when we just sit quietly and trust, because each of us is an infinite being, one with infinite intelligence, infinite love. We are the one presence expressing here as individual humans. So that infinite intelligence, that divine essence that you are, knows how to resolve those hidden traumas. It's not something we have to figure out. We know far more than we realize that we know. So let's begin again with the idea that we are infinitely worthy. So you came in, you made an agreement with the Creator, with the Source, with the oneness, to have this human experience. So you're not less than anything or anyone. So let's just take that into the quiet for a moment and just see if that sinks in. And so how do we tap into this infinite intelligence? First of all, we get out of the way. So we're going to have some more quiet for each of us to give ourselves permission to let our thoughts be quiet. And if you are a fan of The Wizard of Oz, almost at the very end of the movie when Dorothy goes back to Kansas, she is told by Glinda the Good Witch that she knew all along how to get home, but she didn't know that she knew. And I think that's true for all of us. We know far more than we realize. So maybe you didn't know that you know. So let's just have some quiet for you to just take in that you've known all along. And now that you are fully aware that you are one with infinite wisdom, let's make the conscious choice to allow that infinite wisdom to inform us. So maybe the information we need is to remember the trauma. Or maybe the information we need is to not remember the trauma, but to know that there's a way out. Or maybe the information we need is to know that the infinite presence has always been moving in, through, and as us. We are far, far greater than we have ever imagined. You are an infinite being, and you don't just be an infinite being when your human life is over, as I think we're kind of led to believe. Your infinite self is here all along, is here right now. So let's just imagine that. Let's take that in. Imagine if you believed that you know. Truly, fully, absolutely believe that the wisdom, the information that you need, the intelligence is inside of you. It is your truest essence. You know. And you can know more. Once you become aware that you have this infinite resource that is as close as being still and allowing it to reveal itself to you. It is as close as your next breath. So take it and let yourself know. So in the week ahead, when you find yourself in the midst of the question, in the midst of maybe chaos or turmoil or confusion or whatever, let yourself know. Be quiet, be peaceful, and let yourself know. And the information comes in myriad ways. It doesn't just come like popping into your head, which sometimes it does, but sometimes it comes through, someone sharing something with you, someone telling you something, or even hearing a part of a song on the radio, or just catching a glimpse of a sentence on something, social media or TV or radio, or just a conversation that you walk by. When we realize that we know, or we are open to know, then the universe has countless ways to reveal to us what we can't seem to get on our own. So I invite you in the week ahead to just look for it, because what we search for, we find. What we seek, we find. Absolutely. So have a wonderful week, and as always, I remind you that you are whole and perfect, one with infinite intelligence, one with the one presence, one with God, and you know what you need to know when you need to know it. We can trust because we're safe and informed. So again, have a wonderful week, and the infinite presence moving in, through, and as me honors and recognizes the infinite presence moving in, through, and as you. In other words, namaste.